Okay, so, I mean, like, you'd kind of expect that a channel that had dedicated its name to Breaking Bad would probably be watching Better Call Saul, and, we are, and we've come to the conclusion that it is probably one of the best TV shows out there right now, and it is completely deserving of inheriting the Breaking Bad name, and oh my god, it is so good.
So good, man.
So good. So good,
So
man.
good.
This show is the best. So obviously this is our spoiler-filled review. If you haven't seen the show yet, don't watch this video. Just know that you need to see it because it's the best.
Go out and watch Breaking Bad first, please,
Yeah.
because my god, like, you don't even go near this show until you watch Breaking Bad. And if you haven't watched Breaking Bad yet, then
That's a
what are you doing
completely
on this
different
video?
story. This Breaking Bad is probably going to stand as being the greatest show on TV for a long time still. I don't think anything else has really come close to being quite as good as that show is. It is absolutely essential television. Go and watch that first, and then you can come and watch this, which is just as good. So, Better Call Saul takes place 5 years before Breaking Bad and follows basically the rise and fall kind of thing of Saul Goodman to work out how he got to where he did when we meet up with him in Breaking Bad. And it's basically like we're not even following Saul at this stage. He's a completely different character. His name's Jimmy, and we follow his struggles to become whatever he's going to become.
Becoming Saul Goodman, essentially.
Becoming Saul Goodman, essentially. And this is just wow.
And praise the Lord for Vince Gilligan, because my god, this show obviously wouldn't exist without him, and the guy is just an absolute god. Like, how does this show exist? The
Obviously,
writing is
Peter
off
Gould
the
as well.
charts.
The two of them here have just created an absolute, like, masterwork tapestry of astoundingly well-written television.
I mean, you think about how good the last season of Breaking Bad was, and then you think about how much he's learned and experienced from writing that show. It's all applied to Better Call Saul. And the better thing is here as well is, like, everything is thought out. Obviously, Breaking Bad originally was meant to kill off Jesse, and like he was constantly writing the show like after each season. Whereas this one, you can tell he's thought about it. Every season is planned.
He knows exactly how it's going to end.
He knows where he's going with the show, and that's just, it's so great to have someone at the helm of a show that knows what they're doing.
Especially firing into a first season like this, and that's why it feels like it has such strong momentum, even though this show isn't as kind of like action-based as Breaking Bad. It's a lot more kind of comedic, I think, and obviously Saul's character was always that comedic relief, but now we're getting to see Saul play dramatic and comedy off at the same time, plus with all the other characters in his life. And let's just say, for a show that's kind of got this weird kind of magic realism to it, like it does feel real, but the characters also feel kind of comical at the same time. It's this weird kind of tightrope. All the actors nail it here. And I mean, there's obviously great characters across the board here. Obviously, you've got Kim Wexler, you've got Howard, you obviously have
Mike just throws it down all the time. And I think that's the best thing, like we've talked about it often as well, is especially with Saul and Jimmy McGill, like played by Bob Odenkirk here, is like Odenkirk's performance really does excel when it kind of crosses the border between being dramatic and comedic, and
when
it's
he
just
juggles that at the same time.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, oh my god, that's when you should be winning Emmys.
One of the greatest showcases of acting, and I think what he should have won the Emmy for is that scene when the opening of the second episode, where basically Tuco and Nacho have dragged him and the twin brother skaters out into the desert, and Jimmy has to work his way out of that situation, is one of the greatest like scenes of just excellent writing, excellent direction, and phenomenal performing I have ever seen.
And I think it's a really exciting show. I think what was really exciting about Breaking Bad was seeing Walt in situations that were just absolutely whack. Obviously,
we couldn't fathom them.
Like even within the first couple of episodes of the show, where you'd see Walt and he'd be there with his son's friends, sort of thing, and you'd tell them off or he'd kick their ass and stuff. Seeing Walt as that character in those situations that were either really dramatic or hilarious was fantastic. Here, you've got a character that is just out of this world with Saul
those
Goodman.
two things at the same time, the ridiculous and the real at the same time, and he just
seeing those worlds collide. I mean, like, Vince Gilligan, Peter Gould, please give us more. It's so good.
And I mean, moment after moment in this show, it's really exceptional. A lot of people have said, well, the show's just not as fast-paced as Breaking Bad. Yes, it's not, but it's a completely different type of pacing. It's not boring because there's so much content all the time, and no scene goes left like wasted. It's not one of those shows where you're like, I don't even know where that kind of happened. because every scene has a purpose and it's all working towards whatever this end goal is, and you really feel that momentum the whole time.
And my God, let's just talk about that for a second, because the feeling we had after watching the opening couple of minutes of Better Call Saul season
Fuck
1.
the opening scene of this show.
The black and white, just like, what is Vince Gilligan and Peter Gold working towards? Obviously, it's set after the events of Breaking Bad.
Are we going to
with
end
Saul.
up there after? Are we going to have a jump where we go like, oh, okay, we've come up to Breaking Bad, here's our final season, we're going, what happens after, or what's
Are we doing an entire season in black and white? Are we doing an entire episode in black and white? Like,
That opening was just
heartbreaking.
phenomenal. I don't think there was any fans of Breaking Bad who had seen it who didn't go, right, okay, my heart, what is happening? We almost forgot possibly the most impressive performer of all here, and that was Michael McKean, who plays Jimmy's brother, Chuck. What a bizarre character, but yet what an exceptional human being.
How does this character even work in a television show? Like, to be honest, like, if you just took his character out and you just presented him just someone normally, just asked, would this character work in this show, you probably get
Would he work in real life? It's
Yeah,
like,
would
no.
he work in real life? No, because this guy is like a nutcase, but so great
Michael
and
McKean
works
played-
against Saul Goodman so well.
That is just the perfect partnership. Like, obviously we've seen these writers match up before. They've managed to match up Walt and Jesse, which is just a match made in heaven. But these guys equal it. Putting Bob Odenkirk and Michael McKean together as these brothers is just fantastic. Also, and it's the number one thing with both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, and Better Call Saul has pushed it to its limits, is that this is the most creative show I think I've seen on TV. Not counting shows like Black Mirror, where they kind of change things every episode so that creativity is asked to be pushed to the maximum. This is a show where it doesn't need to do it. But these guys are kind of pushing the envelope in modern storytelling on both a visual and like audio level. Like, there's times where they just play out, one of the best scenes ever, and I'm kind of doing a video essay on it coming up, so get excited for this one, is the moment where we have that flashback to see Jimmy's past the bar, and he's having that celebration in the room with his like mailroom buddies, and then Howard comes in and tells him that he's, not getting a job at HHM. All done without sound, all done in one shot, and it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, and that's just one moment. This show is pumping out those moments all the time.
The composition in this show is off the bloody roof, mate.
Off the roof.
It's
Off
just
the charts.
this show just has me just going what constantly, because the thing is it's
so
often
inspiring
hidden.
as a filmmaker.
It's often hidden from the normal audience member as well, which is like kind of great but good. The thing is it works on your subconscious, so you're not realizing what is happening. As Bailey said, that scene works with no dialogue,
Yeah.
so you're watching it happen and you understand what's happening, but it's kind of
Most
like
people won't even realize.
but take it back and just appreciate the filmmakers
Sit
here,
back,
because
and most of the time the show is patient enough. It's not rapid fire editing like that. The shot move, every kind of sequence moves at a really, really it's got its own rhythm, I guess. So it gives you time to take in exactly what everyone in that scene has done to make that happen the way it does, and it's just a phenomenal thing to watch top to bottom, and it's basically the main reason why this show is just so outstanding. And that's just talking about composition. Obviously the cinematography in this show is outstanding. It has a couple of the best shots in TV I've ever seen. Once again, the soundtrack choice, not only the stuff composed by Dave Porter, but the actual licensed tracks once again are outstanding. Really, really effective. Not as many used as Breaking Bad, but the scenes that they are used in are really, really fantastic.
everything is just articulated really, really well, and also just kind of adds to like the location, the scenery, and kind of like just everything. It just accumulates to what's going on screen, and it just adds up so beautifully.
And it's so exciting to see where these characters are going, because they're just like, you feel like this world is always falling apart around them, and they're all trying to like build themselves up above it. And it's
But that's the hardest thing as well, like knowing that like where Saul Goodman goes as well. It's kind of thing like, you know that he's always going to fail at
every
some point.
success has to have a failure, and that's why it's so riveting.
And the rest of the characters as well, it's kind
All
of
the
like, where are
cameos
they
were
going to
excellent
end
as
up? Because
well.
like all these new characters, we've got no idea
Yeah.
how they will end up by the end of this show.
And considering we've also seen the second season, seeing how things develop here is just so thrilling, and seeing kind of the choices that Jimmy makes and the choices that everyone makes to get them to where they are. It's just, there's so many moments that are completely uplifting, completely hilarious, and other times where it's compressing, depressing and aggravating. And this is television at its best.
It's just the golden era, and this show is amazing.
And you need to be watching it, that's all I can say, yeah.
And if you are watching it, please let us know what you're thinking as well in the comment section below, because we'd love to hear your thoughts.
And while you're down there, it's probably worth hitting our subscribe button to see more from us as it happens, including our Season 2 review when that's out, plus our Season 3 review when that's out.
And you can also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat as we lose our minds over this show, and
Thank God it exists.